The beef between Chris Brown and Quavo is a simple, pathetic, but long-awaited beef. It took years for this beef to happen, and it has had immediate and long-lasting impact on both artists since they used to work with each other on a constant basis. The entire beef has been over some pussy. Alright, end of the video. Alright, see y'all in the next one. Deuces. Nah, I'm just playing. Alright, here's some of the backstory behind this whole issue. This started all the way back in maybe like 2015, 2016 when Chris Brown broke up with his girl, Carucci, who will be talked about a lot in this video. So get used to hearing this name because, you know, he used to Mike Tyson his girl, basically. And so when they broke up, he was on some very toxic timing. He was on his Tory Lanez era where he can't have nobody can be seen with his girl since they just broke up or whatever. So instead of her taking precautionary actions and precautionary measures towards healing herself, she goes out and she finds a Chris Brown replacement. She ends up getting together with Offset for a brief period of time. But when Chris Brown got word of it, he ain't fuck with this nigga Offset. And the two went back and forth for a little minute as well. And Chris Brown, which eventually led to Chris Brown getting dissed on the Amigos Bad and Bougie song. Then in 2017, Carucci would settle down and get with Quavo. And then here comes Chris Brown again. He don't fuck with niggas talking to his ex. And this is where the beef begins. Alright, year change. We're now in 2023 and Chris Brown drops his album 1111. And on the song Free, Chris Brown mentions Quavo about how he used to, date his old ex-girlfriend Carucci, and he takes shots at the Migos, no pun intended. It references a Quavo old line on Bad and Bougie. That's how this beef started. Quavo would respond to Chris Brown with a song titled, a day or two later, with the song titled Tender, where he references Chris Brown's altercation with Rihanna in 2008 in the chorus, and also in the chorus he talks about how Chris Brown had to get a restraining order placed against him by his ex-girlfriend Carucci, and how he was a big drug addict. Quavo also talked details in some of the verses in the song that Chris Brown's ex-girlfriend was way more happier when she was with him than when she was with Chris Brown. And he also details how this fight has started is not over women, and that it's more of just like a respect thing. Then we get to the peak the height of this beef when Chris Brown drops the song The Weakest Link. And on the song, at the beginning of the song, you could basically hear Quavo apologizing to Chris Brown on the phone, which is then followed by the chorus on the song being used previously before on Nardo Wick's Who Wants Smoke With Me track. Then Chris Brown gets into the first couple of verses, he gets into the verse where he claims that he has ties with the Bloods, which I don't really know about that. He also claims that Quavo has been he also calls out Quavo for being a fake thug for years, which is damn. Here's where the real kicker is, bro. This nigga Chris Brown drops the fact that he was messing around with Sweetie while she was still with Quavo, which low-key makes this nigga a cut, because he let his enemy hit and he let this nigga Offset hit as well, which I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of crazy. Then he talks about how he was seated next to him at some fashion Paris event, some fashion week in Paris, but the only reason why Chris Brown didn't pop on him was because it was over some money, quote unquote. Then Chris talks about how he uses Quavo's last album as a weed trade, which is like, damn. And the real major one that went super viral was how he said that everyone, quote unquote, everyone wished that Quavo died instead of Takeoff, which it's probably just Chris Brown's. Over hoes and bitches is the last part of this beef. At the beginning of the song, in the chorus, he brings up the Rihanna incident that happened back in the day, and he also talks about another specific incident in which Chris Brown and Frank Ocean got into a fight in a parking lot, in which Frank Ocean was outnumbered and he still managed to win the fight. He also warns Chris Brown about not to talk about Takeoff ever again. No, to never speak on his name ever again. And in his verse, he talks about he breaks down another incident in which Chris Brown was beating on another woman all over his stupid crazy drug addiction. He also flips Chris Brown's gang acronym of OBH, which stands for Original Hood Boys, even though this nigga's not even from the hood, to over hoes and bitches, which practically sums up this beef in a nice wrapped gift. So if there's one thing you could take away from this beef today, is now don't do drugs, kids, and don't fight over women. Please don't.